Hello and welcome. It is now 2018. It is our first episode for the year. We are Control Alt Record. My name is Chris, and joining you for this episode is Brett and Grax. Today's lineup is going to be pretty short on the content this time because it's, I guess it is the first episode and we've done fuck all. So we're going to have a bit of news and talk about our upcoming excitement and games for 2018. If you do like this show, jump onto iTunes, give us a review, give us a rating, and check out our other channels on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You'll be able to find all the links in the description of this episode in your podcast app. But that's it. Let's get into the show.
You're listening to Control Alt Record.
All right, so Christmas is done. It is a new year. I suppose it's yet to find out if it's going to be a happy new year for us. Depends what really happens in 2018. What did you guys get up to over the last couple of weeks during the break? Play anything interesting? Where did you spend your time?
So sort of gaming related, I assume you mean. I've been playing...
Well, I did say, what games have you been playing? I did say that.
Well, you said, where did you spend your time?
No, before that, I said, what games... Never mind.
All right. Grax distracted me because he typed something. I think. I have been playing PUBG, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, pretty much exclusively. I even bought, actually got a load of Steam credit for Christmas, and I bought Assassin's Creed Origins, downloaded it, and I haven't even played it.
Why did you do that?
Well, I was
what a waste of money.
Yeah, it was.
Why did you go? What made you want to buy Assassin's Creed Origins?
Well, I actually enjoy all the Assassin's Creed games, and I played pretty much all of them and enjoyed them. I know that'll be to your disgust, Chris, but some people do like other types of games, and it's got pretty good reviews and it looks kind of cool. It's just I've just kind of gotten myself addicted to PUBG, and that's all I've wanted to play. So that's serving me well.
I can appreciate and understand people wanting to play different types of game, but it's when it's the same game every single year, then it becomes a bit tedious.
It's in Egypt now. There's like pyramids. There's like two bows and arrows instead of one, I think.
Sorry, how many hours did you say you put in?
Well, no, I watched a video of it.
You always got him.
Yeah. It was basically free because I bought it with the credit.
I was going to say, did you have any other options? Or did you weigh up your Steam credit and go, Assassin's Creed or...
Well, I'm there's nothing too much out at the moment that I wanted, so I am probably going to hang on to the rest of it because I got a couple $100 worth, so
really?
I'll probably save it for the other games we're going to talk about.
We had the Steam sale over Christmas, didn't we? The American winter sale or whatever it was. You guys pick up anything in that sale?
Yep. No, I feel I'm actually at a point now that whenever a Steam sale happens, I get all excited. But then the last 2 or 3, I've bought nothing. So I'm like, I've already bought everything.
Yeah, that's what I have. It's like a first world problem having lots of disposable income. Generally, you just buy stuff as you want it. I'm like, I'm not going to wait.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just like, I kind of feel I've bought the things that I want. So I'm like, great, there's nothing new. And then the ones that do come out, it's sort of like, 10% off. I'm like, it's a $90 game, so I'm not getting that much of a discount.
I've got a discount
in US dollars anyway.
I got like 30, I think it was like 30% off Assassin's Creed. So who's laughing now?
Okay.
So once again,
no one. I could be in theory if I was.
Well, I was going to say you're not playing it, so clearly Steam's Gabe's laughing.
Yeah,
Gabe's got the last one.
Just tell me something you're not playing.
Ubisoft get a lot of my money, so
fair enough.
Grax, what have you been up to? Anything? What games have you been playing over the last couple of weeks in your break?
In the break since last podcast, sorry I missed that one, guys. But I have been.
It's not good enough.
Yeah,
I've been playing Ark, the new expansion, Aberration. I've been giving that a good crack, and to be honest, I've really enjoyed it. But in it's probably a month now it's been out. I'm bored.
You said it was amazing.
It is. It's very amazing until you get a rock drake and can just kill everything.
Okay.
So what game did you say that was?
Ark Aberration.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said it different there. Talking about, okay, you got bored. All right, sorry. I thought you said a different name there for a second.
Of course. But I think the server I was playing on with the people I was playing on with, we've installed a lot of mods on the server, so that makes some things easier. And it's kind of like what you were saying a while ago, Chris, when we were talking about Conan Exiles. When you mess with some things and push them right out of balance and make it too easy, you really lose interest. But that being said, I'm still very much playing Ark and interested in Ark. The people that I'm currently playing it with are going to go back to the island map, the very first map, and we're going to restart on that and have some fun with that. So I am looking forward to that. That's starting tomorrow. The other thing I've been smashing up for the last week or so is Star Citizen. 3.0, Alpha 3.0 was released to the public recently, and been giving that a good going over. So I'm enjoying that as well. Surprisingly running really well for me, contrary to everyone else's reports of bugs and frame rate issues and dropouts and things. I've had pretty much zero problems with it, and I'm really happy about that.
It's definitely a game that's come up a few times over the course of our show, and one of the biggest sort of complaints or gripes with it is people sort of see it as just a giant scam, and they've got their money and whatnot. But then, in the most recent update with the 3.0, I'll keep this brief. I know I'm a fan of Star Citizen, and I know we sort of talk about it a bit too much. This is now the turning point for, I believe, the game in its development. Wow. One thing that I do think if they stick to is with the developer Cloud Imperium Games is they've released a statement on 2018's schedule. So one of the things with 3.0, the reason why everyone was really upset with the release is because it was supposed to have been released 12 months earlier. So there was a 12-month delay on getting this out there. And that's what got people, really started to get annoyed with this game and get fired up. So one of the things they have released with the 2018 schedule is there'll be a release update every quarter, at the end of every quarter, first one being the end of March. And one thing they have stated is that if there is something, they've got what they envisage as being the complete package for the next update, which will be 3.1. If there is something in there that is not finished yet, they will release what is finished and then push back what isn't into potentially the next quarter's update, or because of the new launcher that they've now developed, they've got now the technology to actually drip feed that through on a daily basis if they really wanted to. So if hypothetically 3.1 came out on a Friday and there was 50% of it not completed, so we still get the 50%, and they get 10% of it finished over the weekend, it means on Monday they could potentially just drip feed through that 10% to give us that little bit more so they can continue to push stuff out. So I like what they've said in terms of, if it's not ready, we will not allow that to hold back what is. And that's what they've been doing for the last 12 months.
Yeah, it's good.
Fingers crossed they stick to that. I'm sure if Michael was here, he would call me a fucking idiot or something.
You said it's a turning point now. I don't think you can really say that in real time. You have to kind of look back and say that. Maybe in 6 months you can say this was the turning point. They don't have the best track record, to be fair. So really,
but they're still
as long as they do what they're going to say.
They've still done a lot with the timeline that they've had. There've been setbacks, and they've kicked it back. And Chris has already said we don't want to go on and on about it and make it a Star Citizen show, but they, when you look at how open they're being about their timelines and their timeframes, and everyone can see what they're up to, there's delays in all games that people never find out about. You don't hear about release dates until the product's almost already done. So people are getting upset about stuff that most gamers never even find out about. That's what I find annoying.
It's what we do best. It's what gamers do best.
Whinge about things you can't change, and things
sit behind a computer and type really aggressively and do nothing with our lives at the same time.
Keyboard warriors over the
internet.
Complain about everyone else. Yeah.
And with my new mechanical keyboard, because you can hear it, it means I'm serious. I'm dead serious in my angry response because you can hear my keyboard.
But you're usually very defensive of big companies. So Chris, you don't usually get stuck into them. You're like their spokesperson.
Just Blizzard. No, that's just Blizzard.
I can see you in the future definitely working for one of these companies as their sort of official spokesperson.
If they want to pay me, I will sell out.
Speaking of,
will you do it without them even paying you? So imagine if they were paying you, you'd just be so sold out.
I got bills to pay, so I'm not.
I was just going to say, speaking of selling out, it's not actually selling out, but it's definitely a change in brand for me. I got myself a new monitor over Christmas. Up until now, I've been using BenQ monitors, and I have a particular hard-on for Samsung stuff, but can't afford it. So, so that's, they're always on the wish list. But I recently upgraded to a 31-inch AOC, Agon gaming monitor, which has got a 144 hertz refresh rate, and I'm pretty happy with it so far.
So
it's curved too. It's a curved monitor. Now, nice. I was in two minds about getting a curved monitor. There's a lot of it's very divided at the moment whether they're good or whether they're worth it. And I honestly thought it was a bit of a gimmick. How immersive can a curved screen really be? And I've got to say, like my setup, I've got 3 monitors anyway, but just having the bigger monitor, the 31-inch in the middle, it's really quite good. Initially, on the first couple of days, I thought it was too big, to be honest. I thought, holy shit, it's a bit big. Maybe I'm sitting too close. But
what resolution is it?
It's still, see, that's the downside, which is why it was a little bit cheap. It's still 1920 1080. The next
a 31-inch.
Yeah, but it's still really quite clear, and it's got good. I did balk at the resolution when I was reading the stats and all that kind of stuff. But to be honest, it is still really smooth and looks really good. Colors are great. Frame rate's good. I couldn't afford the extra $300 to get the, 2170 bloody blah, whatever the next one up is.
1440p type thing.
This is still 1080p with this DisplayPort. So
the 144 hertz is nice.
It is. It's really. I definitely noticed the color differences and the lack of lag on the frame.
Really, having a 60 hertz monitor in 2018, you pretty much losing at life, really, and should probably consider yourself and just think what's going on.
Time to respawn.
It's just saying, Chris.
It's next.
Do you not have a 60 hertz monitor, Chris? Oh my god!
No, that's what I. No, I do. That's the thing. I don't have a 144.
Well, it took me ages to upgrade too. Like it, it really. I'll tell you the secret. My fourth monitor, the one I use up the top, which was a 21-inch, is the one that died, and I managed to rationalise to the wife that to replace that with a 21-inch was going to be about the same price as getting a 27-inch. And to be fair, it was only $100 in it, which is not much. And then when I got her to agree on that, then I did a bit more research and said, how about we go for this one? So there you go, 31-inch, beautiful. Nice. Like I said, pretty happy with that purchase, and I could recommend it. It's reasonably cheap. I think it cost me $450. So for a monitor of that size,
price,
if you want the higher resolution in that sort of size monitor, you are looking close to $800-900 or $700.
Yeah, well, mine's a couple of years old now, but mine's only 27-inch, but it's 1440p at 144 hertz with G-Sync, and it was $1,100. Like, it's fucking. They're not cheap.
Actually, that's one of the things I did want to talk to you guys about is this particular monitor has got FreeSync. So that's the AMD equivalent. But I have NVIDIA cards, so not compatible.
Unfortunately.
So maybe, I don't know. I really don't want to say I want to change, but maybe down the track it might be worth looking at.
You really need to match them. And it is.
Is it really worth it though?
Oh, definitely. It's so good. You don't have any tearing at all. You don't have to enable VSync, so you end up with significantly more performance. It's just great.
But I usually don't notice tearing in games anyway, so that's why I wasn't concerned
about it. Do you have VSync enabled?
No, not usually.
And you don't notice tearing? I mean, okay. Well, if you don't notice it, then I would say it's not worth it, but I notice it massively because it just happens. Like, it's just a thing that happens. And you might be used to it if you sort of use the monitor that had G-Sync on it, and then you went back after. You'd just be like, okay. It's the same as it's usually get used to things as well.
All right, well, it's something to keep an eye on.
So
anyway.
I don't know. Like I always notice tearing. It bothered me quite a lot. So for me, it was. But the G-Sync modules cost about $200, so they add about $200.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. That's another expensive thing.
The FreeSync is a free thing. I don't think they actually charge. Or it's very cheap anyway. So it might be worth you getting an AMD card if you do consider upgrading at some point.
Yeah, well, at the moment I've got a GTX 970, so it's pretty good at the moment. But, who knows, towards the end of the year, some new cards, maybe that could be next on the shopping list. We'll see. Anyway, Chris.
Well, I'll be sure when I'm back in the market for a new monitor, I'll
get G-Sync, definitely.
I'll consult with you guys closer to the time because I'm not sure when that's going to be. So whatever. Yeah, so I really didn't get up to a whole lot of gaming because I actually was away for the Christmas and New Year's break in Thailand. So that was an awesome little getaway for me. So the only thing I really did get stuck into since I was sort of in hotels and things like that was a Star Wars app game.
Like, you're in Thailand. What did you get stuck into?
Get those lady boys, eh, Chris?
I wasn't going to say that. Hey, each to their own. Whatever floats your boat, bro.
I'm not going to judge you, man. Like, that's fine.
Just come out
it's totally fine. I've no judgment at all.
I'm sure there's not. No, I've been. I've actually been playing over the last 12 months is the Star Wars Galaxies of Heroes app, which I've got on Android. And so, yes, it's an app. It's whatever. It's not proper games, whatnot. But I've actually been stuck into that for like the last 12 months, and that's really been the only thing that I can play up until I return. But I also got stuck into then Star Citizen 3.0 as well, since that was released. What was it? I think the what was the message you sent me, Brett, that the day after I left
I remember
the country?
that too. You're losing your
Star
shit.
Citizen 3.0 just dropped, man. What are you doing?
I know.
You're waiting for this for a year and you left the country.
Did you literally get off the plane in
was-
Thailand and go, fuck, I've got to go home?
Pretty much by the time I got to the hotel and got connected to the Wi-Fi or got like a SIM card, I was like, the message came up and I was just like, are you
I
shitting?
actually,
That's the
because I
first
didn't
thing
know about
read.
it either. Well, I saw Brett's message and I thought, he's taking the piss out of him to upset him. And then I got the notification off another.
I did think that initially.
I was like, oh shit, I'm going home now.
I was going to say it anyway, but then it actually came out. And I was like, don't even need to make it up. It's like, it's true.
Yeah, as soon as you said that, I did think you were
What is a better G-up than
joking.
the truth?
And,
Bad timing. Yeah.
But no, I'm actually, in my off time playing this Galaxy of Heroes. To be honest, I'm actually playing it right now while you guys were banging on about monitors. I'll put my phone down.
Don't do that. That's not great.
I think I've played that one.
Please pay attention.
I did a similar thing when I went to Japan a couple of years ago. I downloaded that. I'm pretty sure it was good fun.
Because the one thing I'm really enjoying about it is because it gives you some really long-term goals, and because it's all the Star Wars characters as well. I'm like, I can relate. I can recognize these characters.
I'm a Jedi.
Yeah.
I recognize it.
Lightsabers won't turn on, that sort of thing.
This is what happens when we record late. I go all funny. No, I meant recognize. So it's quite fun. And one thing that's actually really got me interested now is ever since the Last Jedi came out, and also with The Force Awakens and this game, and seeing that there's like so many more characters out there in the universe. Obviously, there's always been a ton of characters. It's got me thinking. I'm going off a bit of gaming topic now, but did you guys ever watch the CGI cartoons that were done for the Clone Wars and Rebels and things like that? Did you guys ever see those or know anything about them? I was interested in checking them out. I haven't done it yet, but I noticed that Clone Wars is on Netflix.
Do not. There is no trial.
So, do it. Yeah, well, I'm going to probably potentially check that out.
You'll get addicted. It is so good.
Because isn't it like it's all the in-between stuff? I know in the past when we've just talked about the movies and we talk about, Vader's this and all the in-between stuff is not actually portrayed in the movies. Is the Clone Wars and Rebels, is that like canon material by sort of George Lucas or LucasArts to kind of go, this is legitimately what happened? It's not like a spin-off that has nothing to do with the timeline. Are these like stories that,
as far as I know, they're
official
still
Star Wars
canon?
lore?
I can't remember off the top of my head whether they discredited Clone Wars, but I'm pretty sure Rebels is.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, they're fucking awesome. Get into it, man. Who says that adults can't watch cartoons?
I never said that. So anyway.
No. Whoever out there in cyberspace said it, you are wrong.
I was just thinking you're like, I had to get a phone game. And then I was like, I got a Switch, for my birthday, and that would have been good for you to take. And it's like, hang on, you have a Switch.
Oh,
why are you putting something on there? That's the whole point of the thing.
To be honest, like, yeah, I know that's the point. But
I think his wife might have had issues.
I just think I didn't get around to packing it. Last time because I did take it to the US when I was there earlier in the year, and to be honest, I just didn't have time to touch it.
Like, I'm going to Japan in 2 weeks. Do you think I should get like Zelda and take that on the Switch? Because I'll have a bit of downtime because you can't, when you go snowboarding, it's sort of fuck.
Are you going with your missus?
No, going with the boys.
Take your Switch.
Take your Switch.
Yeah, I was going to say, if your significant other's not going, then it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, man.
I was with the wife. No Switch.
See, that's what I was going to say. He can get away with having his phone because you kind of need that, but you take a dedicated gaming console.
You're like, I'm just researching
your holiday with your wife.
Places we can visit.
All right, so there you go. Christmas break. That was supposed to be short, but it went a bit longer than we thought. That tends to happen a lot. So in news, Brett, you came up with some articles here. The first one, PUBG has actually banned 1.5 million accounts for cheating. BattleEye has banned over 1.5 million PUBG accounts for cheating. So it's the actual software BattleEye that has done it. I think,
hell yeah, cheaters suck.
Fuck you if you cheat.
It seems to be becoming, even though they've banned so many, it seems to be becoming more of a problem. And I don't know, like I've been playing it quite a lot over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I've sort of gone up in the ranks. So I'm in the top 1% now. And I've noticed every maybe 1 out of 4 games or something, I'll get killed by a hacker, which is really disappointing.
How do you tell that? How can you tell that they're hacking?
So they have a new thing, basically a death cam.
Oh, yeah.
So if you get killed, you can watch it from their point of view. And I got killed by one person who was using an aimbot, because you could just tell because they were looking up and they instantly like snapped to my head and killed me from 300 meters away. It was just ridiculous. And the other guy was like following me through the wall as I came along. Like he was like locked onto me as I was walking around behind the wall. So very obvious cheating.
Okay.
And it's kind of disappointing. And it's like, it's all, most of them are Chinese hackers. I don't know. There seems to be some sort of culture there, and they sort of come into the sort of, I don't know, it sounds almost racist, but they come into the Australian servers and the American servers and just flood the servers and just hack the shit out of it and ruin it for everyone.
I don't get what they get out of that. Like, they're not getting any money or any,
Well, that's the thing. There is I don't know too much about this, but there is I know there's loot boxes in the game, and the better you do, the more stuff you get for the loot boxes, which are only cosmetic, but I believe there is value in the loot boxes. So I think that might be the problem, is because you can play it and get money for the loot boxes. So
or some people just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah, it's just really...
Yeah, but I think it's the monetary thing where they can get more loot boxes, and it's just they need to do something about it. One of the most popular opinions is actually to geo-lock the servers. So you can't... Because to be honest, like, hackers they seem to be always Chinese. So if the servers are geo-locked, then the Chinese players won't be able to join the Australian, US, and the EU servers.
Can they VPN past that?
Well, possibly, but the VPNs, you're going to add lag and all that sort of stuff. So it's just another barrier that they would have to cross.
It's better than nothing.
But I would rather, I feel like if they can all hack and they can just all hack in their own servers.
Give them a hack server.
That's
My
fine.
aimbot's better than yours.
Yeah, interesting. You've got 30 million. It's got 30 million players. So 1.5 million is quite a significant amount of accounts to be banned, I think.
And is that just straight out flat ban, no appeal, you've been caught,
Yeah, you lose your account.
But how,
So, I mean, I don't know. It's just an ongoing... Well, that's the thing. It's like you can report players and they'll actually look at it and then, ban them based on that. And there's also, it looks for things like moving faster than you should be able to move, just doing stuff that the physics shouldn't allow in the game. So it's the best sort of thing they have, and it's something.
It's better than nothing.
But it's just coming across them like I never used to come across hackers, and now I am. And I don't know if it's A, there's more hackers now, or is it B, because I've gotten better and gone up the ranks and all the hackers are in the high-end servers, because that's...
I was most likely where they're going to be.
Yeah, so that's the general thing. Like most people are saying, you wouldn't have seen them initially because they're all in the top 1%.
Well, that's because PUBG puts you with people of the same caliber usually, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, so
that's right.
That would be it, most likely.
So I've noticed it. I've noticed it in the 1%. for sure. So
you're a 1%, buddy. Wow.
Yeah, which isn't that good apparently, because I thought I was doing well, and then I looked and it's like, no, you need to be at 0.1% to be really good. But
0.1%.
Yeah, just keep moving those goalposts on you, man.
Yeah. But it's sort of, I really hope that they do something about it, because there's a lot of complaints on Reddit, a lot of people saying they're not willing to play the game anymore because of these hackers. And it's really disappointing, especially when you're investing like 20 minutes in the rounds and you just get well, aimbombed, and it's just super, super disappointing.
Just on a slight tangent to that topic, Fortnite, it just came to me in a blinding flash. Is there much discussion within PUBG about Fortnite being a rip-off and all that kind of stuff? Like, whenever I hear people talk about Fortnite, they had a
court case going, didn't they?
Yeah, someone stole someone's engine or something. Oh, I don't know.
Well, PUBG uses the Unreal 4 engine. Which is Epic Games create the Unreal 4 engine. Epic Games creates Fortnite. So what happened is they basically sold the engine to Bluehole, who made PUBG, and then stolen their idea, and it's because it's their engine.
Okay.
So that's kind of why it's a bit weird, because it's like, it's almost like conflict of interest. They're already getting money for PUBG for the engine, and then they just made their own version of it. It's not. I don't think it's very ethical. But they don't PUBG is not the first, King of the Hill type game.
No, it's not.
But it's certainly a direct rip-off. I mean, I played it about a couple of weeks ago, Fortnite, and it's so similar. It's just everything about it is the same. Like, it's really not original anyway. They've really just
like a bit
copied
more.
It's a really obvious copy. Yeah, it's like it kind of looks like WoW.
Yeah, WoW, or I was going to say the other one, Overwatch. Is it that level of sort of cartoony?
It's got those sort of cell shady type graphics.
So I mean, definitely, like when you said there, it's not the first type of King of the Hill game, but when you look at Fortnite and PUBG, it's very much that, the same mechanics. It's even down to you jump out of a plane. I think the only difference in Fortnite is you parrot. It's a bus, is it?
It's a flying bus. It's exactly the same.
An
Airbus.
But then when everyone that lands, they've got to scavenge for their loot. Maybe that's a King of the Hill mechanic or sort of theme as well. PUBG is really the first King of the Hill game that I've ever played as well. So I don't know if others are similar to that in terms of you got to scavenge for your stuff. It probably is. But when you look at the reduction of the area zone, does Fortnite have the random red zones where there's explosions going off as well?
I didn't notice that, but it does have the circle, which is, I don't know if the circle with the blue zone is like a PUBG invention or not, but that's directly copied as well. So they have, it's called a storm, and the storm just comes in exactly the same way. Everything's the same. The loot's the same. The way you loot is the same. The way you sort of enter the game is the same. The only difference really is that you can kind of build little bases really quickly. So that's the only sort of thing they've added is like a little bit of construction.
And you can ride rockets. Apparently,
yeah, I didn't.
That sounds like it's straight out of WoW. That is.
That's just.
It's just like a vehicle. It's just. It's just such a copy. Like, it's just obviously. I could understand someone wanting to go, okay, I want to make my own version of this, but I don't like it. Like, I played it, I'm like, this is pretty fucked. The way it's just such an obvious copy.
So,
yeah,
cool. Apple have gone and screwed people over. So they've apologized.
Surprise.
Apple apologizes for deliberately slowing down old iPhones. So this is something that came out when I was away. So I haven't had a chance to release. I did see the headline. I was like, that just sounds stupid. Have any of you two read the actual sort of information in the article on what this is about? Because I saw the headline.
So what happens is the phones, like after 2 years, the battery capacity of the phone diminishes, and because of that, it can cause the phone to lock up and play up and stuff. So they actually throttle the performance of the phone. So rather than lock up, it'll just slow everything down and sort of keep it stable. But obviously, I think the main problem is they hadn't told anyone that they were doing that, and they just kind of came out and went, "Oh yeah, actually, we're deliberately slowing phones down."
See, I knew something was 100%. Up for years. You always get the 24-month Telstra contract or whatever, and whenever you're coming up to the end of that 24 months, for some reason the phone just goes to shit.
Absolutely, it's Murphy's Law. Happens all the time.
It's planned obsolescence, they call it, and it's they're saying, so Apple's defense, they're not saying it's planned obsolescence. They're saying, well, the phone, because the battery's degraded, it can't perform at the same level. So we have to pull it back. Otherwise, it's going to be buggy and shitty.
So how about you provide a battery for that same thing and we can just change that out?
So what they're doing is they're saying for, I don't know about in Australia, but in the US, usually to replace the battery of the phone, it'll cost you $79. They've dropped that to $29. And and if you put a new battery in the phone, it'll go back to its original performance because the slowdown is based on the battery directly. Mm-hmm. It's not like the phone's 2 years old and they're slowing down. It's like directly
related to the battery degradation. Yeah.
So I guess it's like that's not a bad deal.
Yeah, but they had to be found out about it before they did that. Like it should have just been an option.
It's kind of shitty underhand.
Yeah, it's like how many people kind of go, like you say, until now, how many people have gone, oh, my phone's gone to shit. Well, my 2-year contract is up. I might as well get a new one. So it's all well and good going, oh, $29. Yeah, but you've already made probably how many additional 2-year contracts out of people, out of consumers over how many years? So
you were like an iPhone. You were an iPhone user, Chris, and then you changed to Android.
I was too.
You got like the Pixel now, right? So do you notice, like, does the Pixel still feel as fast as it was when you first got it, or like because obviously the iPhone slowed down? Do you feel like it's the same? I haven't had an iPhone before, so I can't really comment. Like I wonder, is it the same? Is it the same with Android phones? I mean, all the Samsung ones I've had have gotten really slow as well.
Now that we're sort of talking about, I think there is some times where you kind of click a button or you want to rotate the screen. Sometimes there are moments where it's sort of
not quite as snappy,
not quite as snappy as it used to be. Mm. But then that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen that often. But after seeing this, it just makes me think. Is my phone.
Is it like an industry standard where everybody's doing it and it's just okay?
Well, I always had Samsung phones, and then with the Samsung phones, they would usually within a year, they would just, after a year and a half, you just like, I need to get rid of this thing. It's just horrible. I've noticed with the Pixel, it's probably at like 90% of its performance. Like it hasn't really slowed down much, which can be down to having more apps on the phone and just having more clutter and running, newer operating systems. But I would like to know if they all do this, because I feel like they probably do.
Well, the thing is, if they do, you would think or assume that they would start to kind of go, oh, Apple just got screwed over. Maybe we should say something about our phones so then we don't get hit as bad in the future. So you think if they are doing something similar, that it would be in their interest to kind of come out and go, hey, guys, this is Google. We're doing what Apple did too. So...
Yeah,
but I think
they should be like more forthcoming with it.
I think at a certain point too, though, like no doubt, I 100% agree what they're doing is wrong, and they should absolutely be taken to task over it. But with technology in general, even your PC, upgrades and stuff like that, the more technology develops as we go forward in years, the more people develop software and apps and programs and games that draw more power, more RAM, more video processing, all that kind of stuff. So if you're not upgrading your PC, getting new graphics cards, adding more RAM, doing whatever you're doing, your PC is going to slow down because you're going to want to... Well, actually, that's not 100% true. It'll slow down when you try and run anything new on it. If you just stick to some game you were playing 10 years ago and that's all you ever play, then probably PC will keep going.
But I think that's different though, because this is Apple intentionally throttling your phone. So it'd be like Microsoft going into your, BIOS and like underclocking your processor. So it's kind of
wonder if they do that.
An invasion of, or not, maybe Intel or something, and then going, oh no, it needs to be done or it's going to cook itself, But it's like, it's almost creepy having them going in and fucking with your performance and fucking with your hardware without telling you, without giving you an option. Maybe say, you can have it at full speed, but it might...
Yeah, I guess my point was that it's probably because of the battery degradation, which they've said, but, and the newer stuff using more processing, it's probably going to cause issues anyway. But, absolutely what they're doing is dishonest. But,
I definitely agree with, obviously there's, new software and, you need more power to run stuff. That's for sure. But it's just not telling people.
If you left your phone alone and just kept the same apps and didn't do anything, used it as a phone, occasionally checked the internet, then there's no real reason why they should be messing with your phone. And
I mean, look, there's got to be some level of like wear and tear on any device, any product in the world that you buy, there's over time is going to begin to degrade. That just happens naturally. But when Apple have proactively gone, we are going to screw over your battery intentionally, that's the big difference. So it's
screw over your OS
Apple,
because of it.
It's also the timing of it as well. It's like, okay, so you have like 2-year contracts with your phone, and it's literally at 2 years that your phone
it's almost like it was planned.
Very, very convenient. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's just like when the warranty expires on something and it breaks, like within a week.
Yeah,
for sure, man.
So, swatting.
How is this even a thing? Fucking hell.
So what's SWAT? Let's first of all go into what swatting is. I think we brought it up in a couple of episodes ago in terms of, I can't remember what the topic was, but I remember for some reason we were talking about swatting. Now, for those who may have missed it or don't know what swatting is, essentially what happens, it's an online streamer, usually a streamer-initiated prank. So what happens is, say hypothetically, I'm a streamer on, say, a website like Twitch, for example, or YouTube Live. So I'm playing the game, I'm live streaming, I'm having a great time. And then what happens is some muppet out in the public decides to call in a sort of serious level anonymous tip to the local police, advising that you've got a hostage, hostage is at gunpoint. So he's making some serious accusations. And what happens is that serious that the police have nothing that they can do other than sending in SWAT. So they send in like the heavy forces to break down your door. And so there's been images and streaming videos of people playing their games while they're streaming, and out of nowhere, the police bust in through the door, kick the door down, grab the streamer, throw them on the floor, handcuff them, and drag them out while the stream's just left there watching this. And that's the prank.
Yeah.
So what has happened recently in Kansas is a swatting prank has happened. It's occurred. And the man was actually, when he answered his door, was shot by the police officer and died later on, I believe in the hospital, I believe it was. I double check that. So, so that is obviously a SWAT that has gone, or swatting that's gone seriously wrong. Although there is discussion around
the whole thing is seriously wrong.
If there is seriously wrong from the prank perspective, but also from the police perspective in terms of the reporters showing like the guy, they've knocked on the door, and which is a bit odd for SWAT. I don't know why they knock on the door.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
I think they use the loudspeaker and they're like, come out.
Yeah, because I think the reason why they get away with it, the why it happens is because people are streaming, they've got their headphones on, they can't hear the police at the door, so they have to force entry. I think that's where the prank comes, and it's far out, man.
There's almost two issues here. It's like the first issue is obviously like someone swatting someone, which is just horrific and really dangerous, and also the police brutality side of like shooting an unarmed man in his doorway just because he kind of tried to pull his pants up or something. So you've got two sort of issues.
Yeah. Well, you don't know the circumstances of that either, really.
How do these? I did watch the video and. It's like the guy I think he just adjusted his pants and they just shot him because of that. It's like they're pretty trigger happy, the American police.
So this is sort of looks like what appears to be a transcript of the 911 audio recording. So this is to give you an idea of the level of tip or anonymous tip that the prankster.
Hang on,
sort of,
before you read it out, don't do this at home, boys and girls. Okay, do not.
This is the
Go ahead.
Stupidest thing you could ever do.
Can I just say before you read that, how do people do this in an anonymous way? Like,
I did, not off this article, but I did read another one where there is there's an online person who has been actually no one knows who he is. There's like his online alias. People have known him. He's done this a couple of times now. I'm trying to remember what it was. It started with a K from what I remember, but it was something.
Didn't the guy that swatted this most recent one in Kansas, didn't the guy that perpetuated that get arrested somehow? Wasn't? Yeah. They've obviously tracked it somehow. or he wasn't very good.
I'm just reading here. They use caller ID spoofing, but I feel like they should, with any of these cases. Obviously, the network, the phone network can give the information to the police and then have them tracked down.
Oh, you can subpoena all the
what they should
records
do. Because it says here the FBI estimates roughly 400 cases of swatting occur annually, so that's a lot.
That is a lot.
I mean, it should be like that should be go to jail for 20 years offense, in my opinion, doing something like that.
I think so. Yeah, you should be. There needs to be something seriously done to these people because obviously it's stupid because in this case someone's died from it, but you're also taking up the emergency services.
Taking away from real jobs.
Taking away from.
Like you're talking about America, where someone can threaten the president in any way, and they're arrested. Like, in a conversation, someone overhears a conversation of you saying that you're going to bump off the president, and you'll go to jail for whatever. So, for this kind of thing, it absolutely needs similar sort of stuff.
So. I mean, look, I don't. Maybe I shouldn't actually read it. Look, if you want to find out, Google it yourself because I don't want to condone what is being said as part of the transcript. The transcript has been released publicly, so you can go and find it out. So I don't think there's really any harm in me saying it, but I don't feel comfortable doing it. So if you want to find out what it is, like the audio recording has been made public by the Kansas police. If you want to do it, make your own call and decision on that. I won't do that for you, but it is absolutely stupid.
Yeah, pretty much. It breaks rule number one of being a gamer. God. Don't be a dick. Like, I think
it just breaks the rule of just being a human
being. That
rule
gets broken constantly, though.
Well, unfortunately, but then you've got all the other issues of actual real life issues of putting people at danger, risking people's lives, wasting police resources. Far out, man.
It seems to be this era. What was the one we were talking about before? The guy stuck his head in the microwave.
Yeah, just
and they concreted himself in.
But at least he's only endangering himself. That's the Darwin type thing.
Yes and no, but because they've had, there's also then you natural selection, take your place, get out. But then they're also taking away the fire emergency services of a squad to come out there and get his head out of it. Now, what if someone was in?
I feel like the microwave head guy is like in a totally different ballpark to the swatting guys.
It is from a prank perspective, but it's doing something stupid that's taken away from the emergency services.
The stupidity level is up there on both. But
it's the taking away of the emergency services in both scenarios that are sort of
someone's potentially needing their attendance at something real.
Yeah.
But I suppose one's got a very nasty sort of underlying motive behind it, whereas the other one's just like, I'm a retard, I'm trying to show off to my friends.
Yeah, it's clearly people that weren't hugged enough by their parents when they were growing up.
Oh, man. Or dropped on their head many times. I mean, I don't know how dumb you have to be to do something like this.
Yeah,
I'd like to see very severe penalties for anyone who does this, like mandatory jail time if someone's found guilty of doing it.
Yep.
What was that old law? Eye for an eye.
Yeah,
bring that back. Capital punishment.
So you're saying, hang on. So you're saying the swatter should get swatted? Like, come on, man.
No, they deserve worse than that. I mean, like for someone who just does it and nothing happens, they should still go to jail.
Yeah.
If they need to go to court, obviously it needs to be.
It needs to be proven. You need to go through the whole process.
But they can, because a lot of these idiots they brag about it on Twitter, and they put themselves in what do you call it? The evidence is all there, on Twitter. On so can't remember what the word is I'm looking for, but
very sad.
Call of Duty players, are they?
There was a Call of Duty one.
Funny that. Yeah. Not saying anything about Call of Duty players, not that surprising.
There's not much to say about them. Cool. So, cryptocurrency, that's a thing that is over the last, it's been going around for many, many years, but Bitcoin over the last sort of X amount of few months, has skyrocketed, it's dropped, it's gone up again, it's all over the place. I don't know really too much about cryptocurrency, but one thing I did sort of find quite funny is that there was a bit of a parody on the cryptocurrency industry with, I may pronounce this wrong, so please correct me, is what's that meme of the dog?
Doge.
The Doge?
No, it's Doge.
Doge?
Dogecoin.
It's Doge? Doge. Okay, so we all, such Doge. We all know that meme, such wow. And what someone actually did was I did read it somewhere. It was actually back in like 2010, created the Dogecoin. And it was actually initially started as I believe a joke, and just because cryptocurrency was such a new thing back then. There was Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is the sort of two largest, Bitcoin being the largest. And then there's like so many other
bands. It's like 20 or something.
No, there is. There's like a ton of different altcoins that they call it. So you've got Bitcoin and Ethereum, which I think are the two main ones. But then under that, you've got Litecoin or Litcoin. You've got Ripple. These are all called like altcoins. So they're like branches of
Bitcoin Cash
something
as well?
like that.
Bitcoin Cash?
I have no. Yeah, is Bitcoin Cash the method of? No, I actually have no idea.
I thought
I
it's just
know
one,
absolutely
I don't know that much
nothing
about
about this stuff.
Yeah.
I
We're
need
obviously
to
So-
see my money. It needs to be in my hands.
So Dogecoin.
You don't use banks.
No, but
Stash it all under the mattress.
no. I'm okay with electronic funds transfer and all that kind of crap, but actual cryptocurrency, I'm still not convinced it's real. You know what I mean?
Well, if someone is willing, if someone's willing to give you money for it, which they are, then to me it's as good as seeing a balance on a screen on your phone.
Yeah,
really.
in that regard. But who's going to give you real money for something on your computer? I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Well,
I don't understand how
they
it
will.
works.
Though, that's the thing.
How does it work?
Yeah.
How does that work?
They will give you money for it. That's the thing.
No idea. But there are actually ways. If you say like one Bitcoin, I think is worth like $15,000 or something like that.
Holy shit.
And there is a way to cash that out. So there are, I tried to get my head around it, but you need certain online pay accounts to transfer funds between multiple accounts. I tried to read. I was like, fuck this. You can do it apparently. But
it's real money.
too much
It's definitely real, and it's like you can get some, and then you can pay for things with it, and you can exchange it for real money. So it's as good as any other currency.
But it's like, for example,
it's much more volatile. So it's not guaranteed, but its value is going to be the same.
Exactly. But it's also like you look at the stock exchange and stock prices. It's like that's just numbers on a billboard, and you kind of go, "I'll buy that many," and you can still cash that out. So it's like, I'm probably very simplifying that because once again, I don't know much about the stock exchange. But you're not buying money. Well, you're buying money, but you're not buying physical money. But you can cash that out. Cryptocurrency, you believe, it's trying to head down their own path, and people kind of. I think it was the other day. My wife sort of said. How do you just create a currency? I'm like, the same way the Australians did when they started. They created the Australian dollar. The same way people create the pound.
Well,
it's just currencies.
Before we had the dollar,
created.
to be fair, we had rum.
That's true. Well, there you go. That was a type of currency. Yeah, rum was a currency.
Rum coin.
But currently, just going off this CNBC article, they're saying that the total value of cryptocurrencies is over $750 billion.
Ridiculous.
It's just crazy. But the big thing about this Dogecoin was something that was in 2010 was just started as like a joke because it's the Doge. I'm going to have to keep saying that, Doge, to make sure I say it right moving forward. Recently cracked the $2 billion sort of value of the coin. So it's just like, it's just crazy.
I want Dogecoin.
I know. I just get it. Just
what happens.
But that's probably what's happened is people have all gone, oh, geez, Bitcoin's taking off and whatnot. And then probably there's people that have seen the Dogecoin and gone, that's funny. I know that thing. I'm going to buy that. So, yeah. But then here's the thing. So
if someone's willing to give you money for it, it's got value. That's it.
Well, that's right.
Exactly.
Everything
Yeah,
has
someone's
value to
willing-
someone, doesn't it? Like my Metallica records collection is really only valuable to Metallica fans, but
It's worth $2 billion.
to the right people.
Yeah, exactly.
But look, I'm probably not going to spend too much time on this one just because I don't know much about cryptocurrency. It's something that does actually interest me. I'd like to know more about, because when I look at the Dogecoin, like an individual one has trades for like $0.018773. So it's like, that sounds cheap, unless I'm reading that wrong.
Hey, let's make our own currency.
buy a
Control
bunch
Alt
of them.
Record dollar, the car dollar. Let's get it going on.
Car coin sounds good.
There you go. Trademark
name.
that
Catchy.
shit right now.
Yeah. Shouldn't have said
We
that.
don't know. We
I
don't know what to do with it.
you know,
But
buy
I
some.
don't even know how to launch it. Just give us some money and you can have some car coin. And I'm going to start the bidding at 1 cent.
Actually,
per coin.
here's a tip. How about everyone listen to the podcast first, then we'll sell you some coins.
And the coin has Grax's
Oh my
face on
God.
it.
No, that's not going to sell anything.
Oh no, I think the
Oh,
cartoon
my
version.
cartoon
is
version,
good.
yeah. Well, maybe we could release
Yeah,
a pack where you collect all 4.
Yeah, it can be
So-
like Pokemon, but for coins.
Got to catch them all.
Yeah.
So it is now 2018, as we've said. A new year is ahead of us for a whole bunch of range of different games to be coming out. So what are we looking forward to the most this year? Like there's probably quite a bit of excitement for some new stuff coming out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to.
I'm going to throw out.
Oh, no, you go,
Grax.
Brett, you go.
Okay, so the 2 for me is first one is Far Cry
You
5.
bastard, I was going to say that.
Really
You stole my answer.
big. Sorry, man. I might have another answer that will annoy you, but yeah, Far Cry 5. Love all the Far Cry games. Just really
Just
good. This
another-
one set in Montana. This one with religious lunatic cult apparently. So that'll be fun. Shooting up some
Just
crazy
another
religious
Assassin's
people.
Creed. Let's go run around, kill people, and
From what I've
capture
seen on this
settlements.
one,
Not
it looks a lot
really.
like. I think we said this a couple of podcasts ago. It looks a lot like the Ghost Recon Wildlands, similar. And if it's anything like that, I think it'll be fun.
Speaking,
You can do it all. You can do it. Hang on, Chris. You do it all in co-op as
Yeah,
well.
see, I love games like
Far
that.
Cry 5. So we can all get it and we can all play together.
I'm down for that,
and that'll be fun.
100%.
so we can capture settlements
Yeah,
together.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Yep.
So, actually, sorry, Ghost Recons. The Wildlands? Did you see the
I
Predator
heard about
update?
it.
Yeah, apparently it's
I heard
garbage.
about it. I haven't actually looked at it.
I watched a video of a YouTuber on it. So what it is, Ghost Recon Wildlands. If you haven't, we've talked about it in the past. If you haven't seen it, you're very much based in Bolivia, and there's a lot of forest in certain zones or of the map that you're playing in. And so they introduced a Predator weekend update or something. I don't know if it's still going. We get a Predator mission to go and fight Predator. And I watched a video. I think it lasted about 15 minutes. And it's like, that's it.
Okay, you be Predator or you're fighting him?
No, you're fighting him. You're fighting him.
I
So
thought you could be Predator. That'd be cool.
No, you've got
It
to
actually
you go
sounded
fight him.
really
So
interesting.
you start
but
off.
I didn't get around to it.
It doesn't
No,
even
so you
sound that
kinda-
interesting.
It didn't look. It did sound interesting with the trailer, and then when I saw it, I was like, "Is that it?"
Is
Like
it
you
the-
literally,
It's just because there's like Predator vision in the game, and they're like, yeah, I guess we could do something with this. There's kind of those Predator enemies, those guys that have cloaking. So I guess they just kind of modified that a little bit.
I think it was just because there's like the whole forest, you're out in the jungle type thing. But I think literally all the mission was you go to some chick who's sitting by a tree crying because her teammates are all dead, and then it's like, oh, there was
There's a
something.
reason to cry, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. And then it's like, okay, fuck, let's go find this thing. And then you go to the investigating area, and there's like all the scenes from the movie where all the skinned bodies are hanging from a tree.
That's cool.
Okay, that sounds cool.
And then you're walking to the next area, and you can sort of hear the roars of the predator in the background. You get to the next zone to investigate that, and it's all the human skulls sitting on like an altar. I skipped about 5 minutes and then went to the part where they then decided they found the predator, and he starts shooting his cannon off and goes all cloak and starts stabbing people. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Done
Is that it?
now.
And then that's it. You're done. There's nothing else. It's not like you're out doing a mission and all of a sudden you're attacked by the predator or something like that. You're not the one being hunted. You're hunted.
It'd be cool. I think, as I said, it would be cool if you could be Predator in that game. Like, surely
It would be.
that would be fun. They should
Somebody
so,
work
like-
on a mod.
I might write him a letter. Send him an email, maybe.
Yeah, trademark that
Yeah,
too.
maybe.
I'm not going to write a letter. That would be weird.
Write a letter.
Send a scroll.
So what was your second one?
So, yeah, what was your second one?
The
Before Grax interrupted you.
What's this pirate one? Sea of Thieves? What it's called?
Sea of Thieves. That's on my.
That's my other one.
That's definitely on my list. I think that is the end of March, or March 18th. I think it's the release date for that one. That is a big one on my list for this year. I cannot wait for that. It looks so good. If you haven't checked out Sea of Thieves, definitely go and YouTube it and check it out. Co-op heavy pirate game. It's
definitely sounds fun.
So cool. I think the teamwork and coordination to do quests and riddles and treasure maps and being able, you need multiple people to man your ship or sail your ship. I think it's just going to look so cool. You can dive into the water and go treasure hunting underneath. Try not to get eaten by sharks. Guns and cutlasses. It looks, and it has like a very cartoony, shadery type feel to it. The graphics look like it just looks so good. Sorry, Grax, stop interrupting.
Oh my
Brett.
God!
I just kind of went off again.
You did, Brett.
Sorry.
No, I've heard you guys just go through it.
So I'll interrupt myself now and go with. Unfortunately, I believe it's not going to be on PC. Red Dead Redemption 2. I think.
Is that
it is spring, American spring this year? So what's that, mid-year? PS4 and Xbox One, apparently.
Do you have one of those consoles?
Yes, I've got an Xbox One, and I am considering buying a PS4 as well. So, but
call.
yeah, I think
if it's multiplayer, you should get PS4.
If it's multiplayer, it's going to be like Grand Theft Auto 5 in the Wild West. So we need to do that multiplayer together. I think that's going to be fucking sensational. So yeah, I definitely want to see that. I loved Red Dead Redemption 1 on the PlayStation. I played that a lot. What else is coming out? Well,
that never came out on PC.
No, it did not.
No, it didn't.
Very annoying.
And I never actually played the first one. So
really,
yeah, I think when that came out, I wasn't. I was very PC orientated into WoW and things like that. So there was just nothing else I played for like 6 years.
You were always a PlayStation fanboy, weren't you? Right from the start.
Oh, I was. Yeah, no, I was. But when I didn't have the PlayStation. What was it on PlayStation 2 or 3?
3.
Yeah. See, I didn't get the 3.
But it's also on Xbox.
I think when the
as well.
3 came out, I did have the Xbox, but during that time, I was like, for 6 years straight playing WoW, and I didn't play anything else. So I just had no interest in that. It probably came out during that time period.
My turn to interrupt you. Speaking of WoW, Battle for Azeroth is supposedly coming out this year as well. Don't know when, but yeah.
I can't believe they're still releasing expansions for that game. It's
allegedly,
amazing.
that's coming out.
So that like 15 years ago it came out? Something like that?
Yeah, probably.
It's true.
Yeah,
isn't it? 2003, 2004?
It'd be close to 15, if not.
Damn.
I'm just scrolling through.
I mean, good on them. I guess people still play it.
One game's been floating around for a while that's scheduled for release this year on PlayStation, PS4, and Xbox One that I've been sort of half keeping an eye on and kind of keen to check out is Call of Cthulhu, horror game. That looks really interesting.
Sorry, can we just 1 second? Can I hear a frog?
Oh, that might be my house. Frogs outside.
Yes, go ahead.
And you won't even hear that in the recording, so no one's going to hear that.
Oh, really?
Very professional.
Good job, co-leader person.
But you acknowledge that there's a frog there.
Well, I can hear it.
Okay. Right.
Well, there's frogs that live near my house.
I just thought it was my house, so I wasn't really paying attention. So thank you for drawing attention to it, Chris.
Yeah, it's something that won't even, no one will hear.
Care factor 0. Yes, and Death Stranding is also coming out PS4.
I wish they had a new Battletoads game. Sorry. What's Death Stranding again?
That's the Hideo Kojima's collaboration thing that Michael lost the plot over yet. In the... Excuse me, with the...
I never even watched the video.
Released.
So.
The trailer looked graphically impressive, but really trippy. I'm interested to see what the go of the story is.
Yeah, but graphically impressive being sort of pre-rendered CGI.
Well, that's my question. Is that gameplay or is that the story-driven narrative?
We don't know.
We don't know enough to comment.
Usually
really.
not.
Hopefully, we'll get some more info on that this year because it does look.
It's like the Assassin's Creed trailer when it's like this is in-game footage and it says in-game footage, but it's not really.
You're not doing that. It's cutscene.
It's not. Yeah, it's used. They render it with the in-game engine, but it may as well be fucking CGI. Because
See, the thing is, like, what Michael looks at is like, oh, it's got graphics, so therefore it's stupid. But the thing is that we don't know anything about the game. There's nothing about the plot that's been released or anything of the sort. And the thing is, when you play a Hideo Kojima game, which is primarily the Metal Gear Solid, there's so much that kind of goes into it that they're not going to say anything until the game is basically released or ready to be released, because it's just going to ruin whatever the story is. People start coming up with their fan theories and things like that. So there's just not enough information out at the moment to even kind of go, this is going to be done, because we don't know anything about it.
All I can say is that I watched the trailer. It looks good enough for me to want to find out more when it's available. Like, it made me go, holy fuck, that looks really trippy, weird. What the hell was that? What happened there? Oh my God, that looks crazy. Enough for me to want to go, hang on, I want to get a bit more info. So in my, humble opinion, that's what you want to do with your marketing. You want to create interest in your product, whether it's people blowing up going, that looks shit, blah, blah, blah. Any noise is good noise when it comes to that kind of thing. So if people are interested to go, well, yeah, look, what's it about? It's going to be good for your product, isn't it?
Good marketing.
Yeah. So if we're going to name just two, I think Sea of Thieves is my number one game that I'm looking forward to.
You're not allowed to say that.
No, but that was your number two.
You can't say that one. You're not allowed to look forward to that game.
There was a Ubisoft pirate game. Okay. I don't know if it's coming out this year though, but Sea of Thieves. What was that called?
It's like the same game, basically.
But more realistic.
Skull and Crossbones.
Skull and Bones, yeah.
Skull and Bones or something. Skull and Crossbones.
Let me Google.
Yeah, I thought the end of the year, maybe a little bit later on.
Skull and Bones.
Not sure.
What do you think's going on there? Is someone copied someone, or is it just like sort of weird?
Another Fortnite PUBG?
Well, yeah.
But then you can't kind of have two companies that, it's like, you can't say Ubisoft have copied them, because these games have probably been in development for like years, and it's only been within a 12-month span. They're like, oh, we've got Sea of Thieves, and then 6 months later, we've got Skull and Crossbones. So it's like, it's not like they've made that game in 6 months after. I'm just saying 6 months is a generic number, because it was a short period of time in the grand scheme of development. They would have been developing it side by side. Whether they knew about it would be nice.
It looks significantly different though. Like the graphics in Skull and Bones appears to be fairly realistic. So it looks like it's kind of a more serious
Assassin's Creed Black Flag look.
And it's saying on the wiki that its release date is 2018, but there's no solid date, so that could get pushed.
And it's just going to be like clearing bases, basically, just going around clearing bases with your friends. That's what Chris wants.
Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in Q3, Q4 2018. Piracy and naval warfare is its focus. So, yeah, I guess when you guys mentioned that other pirate game, I did a search on it, and this one popped up as well. And from what I saw of that, it's definitely got me interested in that as well.
Yeah. Well, I can't say Sea of Thieves because that's taken apparently. Look, I am interested in this whole Monster Hunter World thing. I've never played them, but people keep banging on about it, so I'm going to give this a bit of a crack. But the actual release date for that is at the end of January 26th, but that's for consoles. The PC port isn't looking to come out until the end of September.
Yeah, we'll get it on PS4 then. That's what I wanted to ask you. Are you going to get it on PS4? Because I was just watching a video, and it does look pretty damn cool, I've got to say.
But we're just going to get it on PC?
Well, it's just like waiting. I don't really like waiting 9 months. That's quite a long time. I could do 3 months, but 9 months, yeah. So there's probably a chance I'll buy it on PS4.
Okay, and it is multiplayer, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, well, maybe. Another one, Kingdom Come Deliverance. A bit of a medieval night game is something that has piqued my interest in the past. I haven't tried to pay too much attention to it. I've seen trailers, and I mean, when it comes to all swords and shields and things like that, that usually strikes a chord with me. So we'll see if that is worth it, and then hopefully we get to see more out of Star Citizen this year. I'm probably going to bang on about that a few times over the next 12 months. So if you're into it, awesome. If not, sorry.
Agreed.
It might be to make a side podcast for the Star Citizen stuff, because it's sort of
Who knows?
It could happen.
Anything.
Speaking of which, I actually did
anything's
a Star Citizen video today. If anyone's interested, Let's Play episode 1 will be up on our YouTube channel in the next couple of days. If anyone cares, no one cares. I had fun making it.
What happened in the video?
Well, you have to watch it. I mean, other than spoilers.
Yeah, sorry. I don't want to give away the storyline that you've worked on for 6 months.
Nah, look, I just basically took a ship out for a run, did some cargo, showed off some graphics, and yeah, that's about it. Short one.
Going to throw in an honorable mention as well. Age of Empires Definitive Edition. I'm going to look forward to that one. I always enjoyed it, and I haven't played a good RTS game in quite a while. And I always loved the Age of Empires theme of starting from caveman, growing up through the eras and evolving, expanding. Awesome. Got to look forward to that.
Awesome.
But that's it.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to Skyrim coming out on Android, so that'll be good.
Really?
So...
Is that a joke or is that an actual thing?
Make a joke.
Okay, all right.
How many Star Citizen maps can you fit in that?
Mark my words.
Shut up.
In about a year's time, I would not be surprised if something like that happened.
That's why I couldn't tell if you were joking or not. I would not be surprised if it's like, hey, come into Google Pixel.
Isn't it already on?
It's like a joke. It's like a joke.
Switch.
Yeah, it's on Switch.
Yeah, it's all happening.
And it's like it's like $100 or something, I think, because I looked at it on the store and I'm like, really, you're charging full whack for this for a game that's like 2011?
Pretty rude.
Like, come on, guys.
I have actually seen Skyrim VR on the PlayStation VR has apparently gotten some pretty good feedback from critics. People who've played it, the VR version, says it's pretty cool. I don't have PlayStation VR, so I'm not going to test it out. But no. I didn't buy it, so still waiting on that VR purchase when things are a little bit better.
I'm keen for some VR action when I can afford it.
I think Star Citizen in 2030 will be good with whatever headset they have then, and when it's near completion by that stage.
Just got to throw that extra bit of knife stab in there, Dave. He's channeling Michael.
It's really because Michael's not here.
Fire into a rant.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to do that, but I know because it winds you guys up as well. It's like literally just one little thing. It's just like fuck it.
Like it doesn't bother me. It's one of those things where what do you want to get out of it? You know what I mean?
Well, when I mentioned in our chat, how much you guys had spent on it, didn't say anything else. I just said that like as a fact. I didn't say you're an idiot for spending that. I didn't say I can't believe you spent that much money. Anything negative, and you guys went into this both of you went into a full defensive thing. I was like, okay, guys,
let me tell you where that came from because we didn't finish that conversation. So it was continuing on from the last podcast you guys did last year that I couldn't make, and I was presenting the arguments that I would have said if I was there. But I absolutely
why? Because we were ragging on Chris for spending.
Yeah, each to their own. Like, what do you want to get out of it? You know what I mean? Like all you've got is the $45 package. You've donated that money, happy in the knowing that you're helping the project. And if it doesn't ever come to fruition, well, $45, it's, not even dinner out. You're happy. Whereas Chris and I have put a little bit more into it.
Got a Macca's.
Yeah, exactly. $1 cheeseburger or whatever. But it's, what level of participation do you want to have? What level of input? How much money do you have that you can?
Very, very low, very low.
So I like participating in betas, and alphas, and contributing to the development of stuff that I can. I apply for a lot of alpha and beta testing for a lot of games that I'm into. That's, I kind of like being able to find bugs. I don't have a massive problem with redoing characters over and building bases again because I like to see how projects evolve. But I get that a lot of people don't like that and they just want a finished product and they've paid their money. So where's my product? I get that too. So, like I say, each to their own, whatever.
I get that. And I know, you're not buying, when you go and pay the entry $45 Star Citizen, you're not really buying Star Citizen.
You're buying the dream.
You're just giving them money to make the game.
Yeah, that's right.
And you get to play it. That's basically what it is. So I get that. But it's at the same time.
It's fun to wind people up.
It's fun to throw it. It's fun to wind people up. So,
fair enough.
Cool. Anyway, that is everything we have for you for this week. So thank you so much for listening. If you did like the show, jump on to Facebook and Twitter and let us know. Give us some feedback. Love to hear from you. And also give us that rating, review on iTunes or any sort of podcast app that you may use from the Android side of things. But that's it. So thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you again in the next episode.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for following us into 2018. See ya.